Josh Loeser, thanks for taking the time. Congratulations on a great season for your team. Let's just go there first, your team and how you finished with 9th place in the NCAAs. Your take on that?
It was about what I expected, probably a little bit better than what I expected. We were down a little bit this year. There were some meets where we're like, all right, do we have somebody to compete this event? I don't know. But, our team, all the guys, they did a great job of filling in those spots. Had quite a few guys compete that have never competed before. And they really, really filled in those holes that we were missing. So, they did great. I mean, better than I could have asked for. So, yeah, it was awesome.
Fantastic season. Of course, 2-time national champion Patty Hoops now on the pommel horse, just the 3rd man ever to be back-to-back champion on the pommel horse. Talk to me about what it was like just to see him do it again.
Well, I knew it was going to be tough this year because him and one of the guys from Illinois have kind of been going back and forth. I think a lot of people expected Brandon Dang from Illinois to win. But the first day when Patty hit his routine, it's probably the best one I've ever seen him do, at least in competition. He put up the highest score of the meet for the whole weekend, and he deserved it. I don't know scoring wise how that equates internationally, but it was the best routine I've seen him do. And then the next day, I was like, all right, just got to do that again, which is hard. And after we watched every top pommel guy, including Brandon, every one of them messed up. And that actually made me more nervous because at Winter Cup this year, I think that's one of the reasons Patty had problems because he knew he was slated to win. And I think that changed the way he performed. So going into it, I was pretty nervous, but after I saw him hit, I knew he won as soon as he hit because there was nobody left after him. I was excited, and they told me after he had gone that apparently every time one of the top guys would go, he left the arena, so he didn't even see him, so he didn't even know how they did. And I was like, that's good. He does better when he has somebody to chase, I feel like. And no, it was awesome. But I've been saying he's one of the best in the world, and I think he proved it. That's cool.
Very cool. How did you get him to come to the Air Force Academy?
I don't think he had any other options. He wasn't recruited anywhere. And it's hard, it's hard for other coaches to see every single person there is when they're going through their recruiting process. My brother actually was coaching sports camp when I was still coaching down at the training center. That summer, he called me and was like, hey, man, this kid's pretty talented. You should come check him out. So I came up to the academy that day of sports camp, and I worked with him a little bit. He was real sloppy, but his control was unique. His ability to stay on the horse was really unique. And I was like, yeah, he's got talent. My brother spotted it. So I got to give credit to him. And when I came in August, I was just trying to get guys in. I knew I was already a little bit late on the recruiting side because I had come in so late. And he was one of the guys I invited out. And I think he sent an email or something to Nebraska because a lot of his teammates from his club team went to Nebraska, still do go to Nebraska. And I don't think they ever responded to him. And if you had seen him back then, I don't blame them completely, but if they'd actually taken the time to watch some of the stuff he does, I think they would have seen what I saw and what my brother saw. I hope anyway. I know the first time we actually got to see him compete was around Winter Cup his senior year because he was there's a club meet that was in conjunction with it. And I'd been telling Sergi all year. Sergi came in October. I've been telling Sergi all year. I was like, man, I can't wait till you see this kid. He's going to be really good. We got there and Patty did awful. And I was just like, oh, God, Sergi probably thinks I'm an idiot. He just started working with me. I was thinking, oh, this dude probably doesn't have any faith in my eye at all. But then Patty came in after a year at the prep school, and everything was completely different. And then he and Sergi working together, they just kind of took off, and yeah, it's worked out.
It certainly has. Another athlete that things have worked well for, Eric Upton. Wow. Winning the event on Friday, and then the seventh place finish, All-American in the all-around after maybe not his greatest vault to start on Saturday.
Definitely the worst vault I've ever seen him do. Thank God he is such a hard worker and so talented. He was able to put it on his feet. But I noticed it in the run. I saw him stutter step, and I was like, what is going on? And I didn't know if he was nervous or what. And sure enough, he landed. And when I went up there to tell him good job, like good fight, he was like, man, I've never done that in my life. And I was like, yeah, I know. I don't know what you were doing, but whatever. Keep going. And after he got that out of his system, I mean, it was pretty much what he does every meet. I was not worried about Eric making All-American just because of how well he's done all year. When I saw that vault, I was a little worried. But after that, once he was back in the zone, I was like, gosh, he's got it locked. I expected All-Americans from those two. Obviously, best case scenario was going to be Patty wins, Eric makes top 8. And they did that. So it was pretty cool because both of them are the two co-team captains, and they both had such a great week. It was couldn't ask for more. It was pretty nice.
So where do you go from here? Because these two guys will not be here to carry the load, so to speak, next year. Obviously, there's some very promising individuals behind them, but where do you go from here, and what does this say about your program?
So as far as losing those two guys, it's going to hurt. Patty's score on Pommel Horse really helps out. Eric's consistency he's one that when he gets up, you kind of you can kind of breathe a little bit because you're like, all right, I know he's going to hit. So that hurts us. And the other seniors too, Charlie Miles, Brian Woffenden. I mean, these guys, that's a group of guys that were kind of diamonds in the rough. Like nobody looked at those guys to recruit them, and they ended up being some of the most solid guys we've ever had. Good group of guys. But, losing them, you always got to be planning ahead. So always when we're recruiting, we're like, all right, we're losing this guy in a few years, this guy in a few years. We've got 2 seniors on horse, Sam Brown and Jack Matlock. They're going to be able to fill in the gap. I mean, we didn't get to use Sam Brown at all this year because he was injured. So those 2 guys should fill in the gap that we're missing with Patty. And then we got a couple guys coming in. We even got some freshmen on the team right now and some sophomores that will obviously move up in class this next year. But I think Pommel team overall is probably going to be stronger as a whole. I think they're going to be able to put up bigger scores on Pommel Horse next year as a team. And then we've got about 7 or 8 guys coming in that a couple of them are all-arounders. One is very, very solid, and we're really hoping he'll pick up some of the slack that Eric's going to be leaving behind. And then one of our freshmen, Jared Fry, he's an all-arounder too, and we're hoping that he'll kind of come into his own next year with some of the other freshmen, and they'll be a little bit more solid. We can count on them more often. So I think we're going to be in a good spot.
For sure. And maybe what's making them be in a good spot is yourself and Sergi and the coaches. Give yourself a little bit of a pat on the back, no?
Yeah, Sergi and Mike are great. They're doing a great job with them. I just kind of make sure those guys and the team have what they need. I don't know if that's what I'm supposed to do or not, but that's kind of what I do. That's what I feel like I do, is I just make sure they have what they need, and then they together make it happen. So, yeah, it's worked out well so far.
It certainly has. Coach Loeser, thanks for the time. Congrats again on a great season.
Yeah, thank you.